Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive.
Always excited to dig into something new.
Today, we're going to be looking into something called referrer spoofing.
Oh, that's a good one.
And it might sound a bit technical,
Yeah.
but it's actually way more relevant to your everyday life than you might think.
Yeah, it really is.
So you know how sometimes when you're browsing online, it's like a website knows where you came from?
Right.
Like you click a link in an email,
Yes.
and it takes you straight to your shopping cart.
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
Yeah, for sure.
That's because of something called referrer data.
Exactly.
It's basically like a digital trail of breadcrumbs.
Like a little history of
Yeah.
where you've been online.
Exactly. It shows websites, your online journey. But what happens when someone fakes those breadcrumbs?
Well, that's where referrer spoofing comes in. It's basically the art of manipulating those breadcrumbs
Ah, okay.
to make a website think you came from somewhere you didn't.
So it's like lying about your online address.
That's a great way to put it.
That's
It really is a form of digital deception.
And I'm guessing this can be used for some pretty sneaky stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's not just about privacy then.
Right.
It can lead to some serious security risks.
Definitely.
Okay, so tell me more about that.
So picture this. You're logged into your bank's website, right?
Yeah.
You get an email that looks like it's from them. Seems legit, you know. You click a link in the email.
Yep.
But behind the scenes, an attacker has actually spoofed the referrer data.
Yeah. So it's a phishing email.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
Okay.
But the spoofing part is what makes it really tricky.
Okay.
Because it makes your bank's website think
Yeah.
that the request is coming from a trusted source, you know, the real bank website.
So they basically create like a fake trail
Yeah, fake digital trail.
to trick the website.
Exactly.
Okay, so they've bypassed the security.
They've snuck past the guards, so to speak.
And then what? What kind of damage are we talking about?
Well, once they've done that,
Yeah.
they can potentially do all sorts of damage.
So what are the real-world consequences of this?
Well, one major concern is something called cross-site request forgery.
What?
Cross-site request forgery,
Okay.
or CSRF for short.
CSRF.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
But it basically means tricking a website into performing an action on your behalf without your consent.
So they're using my account
Yeah,
to
basically.
do things that I don't want them to do.
Exactly.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say you're still logged into your bank's website
Okay.
and you click a link in an email. Could be anything, you know.
Yeah.
Looks harmless enough.
Mm-hmm.
But because the attacker has spoofed the referrer data,
Right.
the website thinks the request is coming directly from your banking session.
Okay.
So it could trigger a money transfer
Oh, wow.
without you ever realizing what's happening.
That is scary.
It really is.
So it's like they're using my own digital identity against me.
Yeah, it's a good way to think about it.
Like they've stolen my ID card.
Yeah.
And they're using it to do things I don't want them to do.
And that's just one example,
Oh,
unfortunately.
no, there's more.
Yeah. So referrer spoofing can also be used in those phishing attacks we talked about earlier.
Right.
You know, where they create those fake websites that look almost identical to the real thing.
Yeah.
By spoofing the referrer data, they can make it seem like you arrived at the fake site from a legitimate source.
So they make their traps even more convincing.
Exactly. It's all about deception.
It's like camouflaging a pitfall with leaves and branches.
I like that analogy.
You don't even know it's there until you've already fallen in.
Exactly.
And is that all?
No, there's even more. They can hijack your sessions, too.
What does that mean?
So they can take over your account on a website while you're still logged in.
Oh, wow.
It's like someone stealing your car keys
Yeah.
while you're still in the driver's seat.
Okay, that's creepy.
Yeah, and it's all thanks to that manipulated referrer data.
This is seriously freaking me out. But let's try to shift gears for a sec.
Okay.
What can websites do to protect themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question.
And their users from this kind of attack, are there defenses against this digital camouflage?
There are, thankfully.
Okay, good.
And they don't always require users to be super tech savvy.
So what can they do?
One thing is they can implement something called CSRF tokens.
CSRF tokens.
Yeah, it's like a secret handshake
Okay.
between you and the website
Yeah.
that verifies that each request is legit.
Okay.
They can also utilize same-site cookies.
Same site cookies.
Okay.
Okay, what are those?
Think of them like VIP passes that only work on the specific website that issued them.
Okay.
So it makes it much harder for attackers to use them on other sites.
So these are things happening in the background,
Exactly, behind the scenes.
protecting us without us even realizing it.
A lot of it is, yeah. That's good to know.
But it's important to remember that this is just one tactic
Okay.
that attackers use.
Right.
Websites need to use a whole combination of techniques
Yeah.
to really defend themselves against all the different threats out there.
It's like building a fortress. Right.
Yeah, a good analogy.
You need strong walls, vigilant guards, and maybe even a moat for good measure.
I like that.
You gotta be prepared.
And just like a fortress, a website's security needs to be constantly updated.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
To stay ahead of those evolving threats.
Right, because the bad guys are always coming up with new tricks.
Exactly. It's a constant arms race.
Okay, so we've talked about what websites can do
Right.
to protect themselves, but what about us,
Yeah, good point.
the users?
Yeah.
What can we do to protect ourselves from falling into these digital traps?
That's where user awareness comes in.
Okay, so it's not just about the technology.
No, not at all.
It's about our own behavior as well. Absolutely. We have to be smart about how we use the internet.
So what can we do? What are some specific steps?
Well, one of the most important things is practicing good password hygiene.
Password hygiene.
Yeah, I know you've probably heard it a million times.
Yeah.
But it's really crucial.
So strong, unique passwords for every single account.
Exactly.
Come on, though, be honest. What's the harm in using the same password for a few different sites?
Well, imagine if you use the same key
Okay.
for your house, your car, and your office.
Yeah.
If someone gets hold of that one key,
Right.
they have access to everything.
True.
It's the same with your online accounts.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like a domino effect.
Exactly.
One weak link can bring down the whole chain.
That's a good way to put it.
So, strong, unique passwords for everything.
Yeah.
Got it.
Check.
What else can we do?
Be cautious about the links you click
Okay.
and the information you share online.
Right.
If an email or a website just seems a little off,
Yeah.
trust your gut.
Okay.
Don't click on anything that looks suspicious,
Yeah.
and hover over links to see where they actually lead before you click on them.
So just take a second and think before you click.
Exactly.
It's like that old saying, if it sounds too good to be true.
It probably is.
Exactly.
Those attackers are always coming up with new ways to trick people.
Right. So a healthy dose of skepticism is key here.
For sure.
And what if I'm just not sure about something? Should I just ask for help?
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
There are tons of resources available,
Yeah.
both online and offline, to help you stay safe.
You mentioned resources. Are there any specific places people can go to learn more?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What about organizations or websites?
So the National Institute of Standards and Technology,
NIST.
yeah, NIST, they have a ton of info on cybersecurity best practices,
Okay, that sounds pretty technical, though. Anything a bit more user-friendly?
of course.
Yeah.
So websites like staysafeonline.org, they have really user-friendly advice and tips on a wide range of online security topics.
Perfect.
Oh, and the Federal Trade Commission.
Okay.
Their consumer protection website is another good one, especially if you've been the victim of a scam or identity theft.
Right, right.
They can help you with all that.
Those are all great resources. We'll definitely include links to them in our show notes.
Awesome.
For anyone who wants to learn more.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I'm just curious, what about the future?
The future.
Yeah. What are some emerging trends in refer spoofing and online security in general?
Well, one thing that's becoming really concerning is the rise of these super sophisticated phishing attacks.
Ah, yeah, those are getting really good.
They really are.
It's hard to tell what's real anymore.
It is. The attackers are getting better and better at creating these fake websites and emails that look just like the real thing.
Yeah, and then we've got all these mobile devices now.
Right, exactly.
So it's not just our computers we need to worry about anymore.
Nope. Phones, tablets, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They're just as vulnerable to attacks as traditional computers.
Really? I always thought those were safer somehow.
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, they might even be more vulnerable.
How come?
Because people tend to be less cautious on their phones.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
They'll click on links without thinking, download apps from anywhere,
Right.
connect to those unsecured Wi-Fi networks.
It's easy to let your guard down when you're on the go. So how do we stay safe on our phones?
A lot of the same principles apply, actually.
Okay.
Strong passwords, be cautious about links, download apps only from trusted sources,
Got it.
and be extra careful about those public Wi-Fi networks.
Right, right.
If you can, use a VPN.
Okay, so it sounds like it all comes back to being mindful.
There you
Whether
go.
we're on a computer or a phone or whatever, it's like we need to develop a sixth sense for for spotting those potential threats.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
The more aware you are of the risks, the better equipped you'll be to protect yourself.
Right. And it's not about being paranoid.
No, not at all.
It's about being proactive.
Exactly. Being proactive, not paranoid.
I like that. So even though referrer spoofing and all these online threats can seem scary,
Yeah.
it sounds like we're not powerless.
Not at all.
By taking some simple precautions and staying informed,
Mm-hmm.
we can navigate the digital world safely and confidently.
We can dig.
And hopefully not get our digital wallets stolen.
Exactly.
So much good stuff in this deep dive.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
Into referrer spoofing, learned how it works,
Right.
learned ways to protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like staying safe online.
Yeah.
It really is a combination of website security and user awareness.
For sure.
But is there anything else we can do?
Well,
I mean, it feels like a never-ending battle out there
it is.
against these increasingly sophisticated attackers.
Yeah, they're always up in their game.
Exactly.
But,
Yeah.
having the right tools in your arsenal can really make a difference.
Tools. Okay. Like what? Give me an example.
Well, one that often gets overlooked is security software.
Security software.
Yeah, like antivirus programs and firewalls.
Oh, okay.
They might seem kind of old school.
Yeah, I haven't thought about antivirus software in a while.
Right, but they're still super important.
Really? I thought that was just for stopping those annoying pop-up ads.
No, it's much more than that. Think of it like a digital bodyguard, constantly scanning your system
Okay.
for anything malicious, anything that could be used in these refer spoofing attacks.
Okay, so it's like having a security guard patrolling my computer.
That's a great way to put it. Always on the lookout for anything suspicious.
And what about firewalls?
Firewalls are crucial too. They act as a barrier between your computer and the outside world,
Okay.
filtering all that incoming and outgoing network traffic.
So it's like a checkpoint
Yeah, like a security checkpoint.
at the entrance to my computer, making sure only the good stuff gets in.
Exactly. Stopping those sneaky attacks before they even have a chance to get through the door.
I like it. But there's so many options out there.
Oh, I know, right?
How do you even choose the right security software?
Well, a lot of security software suites now offer comprehensive protection in one package.
Oh.
They'll have anti-phishing, web filtering, vulnerability scanning, all that good stuff.
So it's like having a whole security team working behind the scenes.
Exactly. Keeping you safe online.
I like that. But even with all this,
Mm-hmm.
the tools, the techniques, the awareness,
Yeah,
can we really stay completely safe online?
that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It feels like the bad guys are always one step ahead.
It's true. The threat landscape is constantly evolving. There's no such thing as 100% security.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we should just give up.
Yeah, for sure not.
By combining vigilance, good security, it's all about minimizing risk, making it as difficult as possible for those attackers to succeed.
It's like locking your doors and windows.
Exactly.
It doesn't guarantee someone won't break in,
Right.
but it makes it a lot less likely.
Much less likely, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So be mindful of what we share online,
Yes.
cautious about the links we click,
Uh-huh.
protect our devices with strong passwords,
For sure.
and up-to-date security software.
All very important.
Online security is an ongoing process.
It is.
Not a one-time fix.
Definitely not.
Always learning, always adapting.
Always be learning. Yep.
This has been a really eye-opening deep dive.
It has been, yeah.
I feel so much more prepared to deal with all this stuff now.
That's what we like to hear.
Anything else you want to emphasize before we wrap up?
Just remember, knowledge is your best defense.
Knowledge is power.
Exactly. The more you understand about these online threats
Mm-hmm.
and how to protect yourself,
Yeah.
the less likely you are to become a victim.
Right.
There are so many great resources out there
Yeah,
to help you stay up to date. We mentioned a few earlier.
we did. We'll be sure to include links to all of those in our show notes.
Perfect.
So to recap,
Mm-hmm.
be cautious,
Yes.
be informed,
Uh-huh.
and be proactive.
Love it. And don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it.
Absolutely. Online security doesn't have to be scary
No, not at all.
or overwhelming.
Nope.
We can all enjoy the benefits of the internet
We can.
while minimizing the risks.
Exactly.
Great note to end on.
I think so.
Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive into referrer spoofing.
Thanks for having me.
We hope you found it informative and empowering. Remember to stay curious,
Get curious.
stay safe,
And stay safe.
and we'll see you on our next deep dive.